So we'll need to wait for Laurel to tell us that we're going live here.
The live button is on.
Trudy, you're live.
Okay.
Thank you,
perfect.
Laurel. All right, I can call this regular meeting of the Leelanau County Brownfield Redevelopment Authority to order. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll ask if Ty Wessel, who is closest to the flag, will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States
of America, to the
Republic, which stands one nation under God, indivisible.
always kind of a challenge.
We did it.
Thank you, Ty. All right, I'm going to take a roll. Dennis Boucher.
Present.
From which township?
Elmwood.
Okay.
Township 2.
Thank you. John Aarons is absent. Rick Foster.
Present, Leelanau Township.
KT F. Taxadias.
Present, Elmwood Township.
Chet Janik.
Present in person.
Ty Wessel.
Here.
And Kathy Egan is here from Huntington Beach, California. And our director, Trudy Gala. Okay, so we do have a quorum. Is there any public comment? There's no public presence, but I'll announce the phone number that people can call in, 231-256-8109. So if anyone calls on that, yes.
Candy, excuse me, somebody needs to mute their microphone. We can hear background talking or a phone call
All
or
right,
something.
hold on. I would have to move to another room and I would have to adjourn for a couple minutes.
Well, let's just try and see how it plays out.
Okay, hold on one second.
I thought it was there. I went and checked with Laurel. I thought maybe hers was
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
no,
normally-
it's a big, as everybody's finding out, big open floor plans aren't good for Zoom, that's all. Yeah, I'm on a meeting, so I'm talking to them. Okay, I'm sorry. So the public comment phone number again is 231-256-8109. And if anyone calls in on that, we will stop the meeting and take the public comment. So in the meantime, we'll move on to director comments.
None?
Okay, consideration of today's agenda.
Just one
Trudy, do you have
correction.
any comments on that? Are we good to go with what we have?
The consideration of minutes, it should say the January 19th, 2021 minutes on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, so we can entertain a motion to approve the agenda with one correction.
So move.
Support.
Rick Foster moved, he supported. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we move on with the agenda and we'll consider the minutes from January 19th. Oh, I'm sorry. Does there anyone have any conflict of interest with anything on the agenda today? Hearing none, we'll move on to consideration of January 19th meeting minutes. We can entertain a motion to accept the minutes. If
So move.
so moved by Rick Foster and support by Dennis. Any further discussion on the minutes? All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved and adopted. We go on to the consent agenda. If anybody has any comments on the consent agenda, we can pull that out. Otherwise, we can accept the consent agenda. Anyone want to make the motion to accept that? Dennis is making the motion.
So moved.
Support.
Support by Ty. Was that Ty?
P.
I think Ty got in first. So
Okay,
um,
no problem.
all those approved in support of the consent agenda, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we'll move on. Old business, we have our review and adopt our bylaws, rules and procedure, and policies and procedure. Rules of procedure and policies and procedures. Trudy, you want to give us the background and how you had this reviewed by the legal team?
Sure. I sent these documents to corporate counsel, asked them if they could take a look at these, review them, and also make sure that everything is consistent between all three documents. You can see in the documents that where items have been crossed out and then new text has been added. It's all been done in red for your convenience. One of the items that was changed in here is the name of the director, which is the position that I hold. Our attorney felt like that was confusing because you're the director of the board of directors for the Brownfield Authority. So he suggested a different name be used, whether it's assistant or executive assistant, or in this case, I think he put in the recording secretary for that position. So that's been changed in the document, and then he went through also the rules of order and procedure and cleaned that up, took out things that were no longer needed, really kind of streamlined that, and probably the fewest changes was in the policies and procedures. And as you know, Jeff Hawkins and his firm worked on this a couple years ago and really cleaned it up. We had it at over 100 pages and cleaned that up very well, and so the attorney made just a couple minor changes here and there. So if you are comfortable with those, they could be adopted. If you want any other changes, you would need to let me know so that we can get a clean copy.
I want to ask Jeff Hawkins a question on this, if I may. Jeff, the term of director, isn't that commonly used across the board, across the state with brownfields, and we actually need a director? And T's nodding his head too, I can see.
Yeah, I would say it would be. I was going to look real quick at the statute. See what
T, do you recall?
Yeah, actually, the director is what other BRAs use.
Yeah.
And recording secretary is, I've never heard that term assigned to the director. It is true, however, that the members of the BRA are also called directors in the act. If you have it in front of you, Jeff, I just pulled it out a few minutes ago.
Well, actually, yeah, and it says in the that the board may employ and fix the compensation of a director of the authority.
Yes.
Right. I remember when we started this, that Flo McCormick, who helped us set everything up, you know, I remember a conversation about needing a director and how we named Trudy that person. I don't think recording secretary nearly covers the scope of work that Trudy does for the Brownfield. So I'm more comfortable with keeping the word director there. We've been using it for 10 years. That hasn't had any confusion. It's what all the other brownfields use. That's my preference on that. Let's open this up for more discussion.
I agree with that also.
Chet, Ty, Dennis, Rick, anybody have any more comments on that? Or
I like it, and Unless Trudy wants a different title.
We can let Trudy be whatever she wants because we can't up her pay.
That's right.
Well, it says you can in the statute.
I'm fine with it the way it was at. I don't have any problem with that. I didn't think there was confusion. I'm passing along to you what the attorney said.
All right, just because the attorney, that's what how they saw it, doesn't mean we have to accept every suggestion that they have on the documents. And I was fine with everything else except that.
I think there have been a lot of confused attorneys, around the world, at least around this country recently. So.
So Trudy, should we do a different motion for each, the bylaws and the rules and then the policies?
That'd probably make it nice and clean.
Okay, so let's focus on the bylaws. Does anyone want to make a motion accepting all the changes to the bylaws except keeping the director title for the staff person that works, for Trudy, basically, without.
Okay,
Dennis?
I'll move that we keep all the other titles as is and keep the term director for Trudy.
Support.
Motion by Dennis, support by T, to accept the changes recommended in the bylaws except for the term of director. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Say aye, raise your hand. Any opposed, same sign. That motion passes. So we'll do the same for the rules of procedure. Anyone want to make that motion on the same motion for the rules of procedure?
So move.
Rick made the motion. T, is that a second?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed, say do the same. Okay, that one passes. And we move on to the policies and procedures. We would need the same motion for the policies and procedures.
So
So
moved.
move.
T's making the
moves this time.
motion. Rick
I'll
is
second.
supporting it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. So we move on to item 2 on old business, which is consideration of the partial loan payment to the county. We talked about this the previous months when we set up the budget for 2021. And we talked last month about paying the county $10,000 this year toward the startup money that they gave us when we began. So any more background we need, Trudy, or any more discussion on this?
I don't think so. We've got it set up in claims and accounts that you would take it out of the line item numbered 995, which is county payment. So it's already been set up in the budget for 2021. The line item is there. It's merely approval by the Brownfield Authority and then write the check for it.
So that would come out this month because it's in this month's claim and accounts.
Yes.
Anybody have any further discussion on this? Anybody want to make this motion to pay the county the first installment of the loan?
I will make that motion.
Was that Chet? Did you say that?
Yes, yes.
Chet made the motion. T, was that a second?
Actually, I think Rick did.
Okay, Rick. Motion by Chet, second by Rick. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So that passes. Okay, we go on to new business. With consideration of amendment for general services contract for EnviroLogic. And I'll turn this over to Trudy and Jeff Hawkins for explanation.
Okay, as was discussed at your last meeting, the The actual agreement with EnviroLogic goes to the end of this year. However, the amount of funds left in it is pretty low. And so at your last meeting, you had directed Jeff to bring back a work order. So this work order is amendment number 7, which is for $6,000. And it's spelled out in your packet, pages 8 through 10. And Jeff, I'll let you answer any specific questions or go over it in more detail if you'd like.
Sorry, I was muted. As Trudy indicated, I think when you look over since we started with this particular general services agreement and so forth in 2016, we've averaged about $4,000 a year. So I'm anticipating it'll probably still be that. We have a little bit of budget still left, but I know we're still cleaning up quite a bit with respect to the TIF. And I intended to have this before you this month, but it's going to be next month. We're really close to having this all nailed down with respect to giving some motions for you to act on payments and repayments to developers, Brownfield Authority, et cetera, with respect to the Brownfield plans that we have active. And we're close to cleaning that up. And so it's going to take still a little bit more to do. So it's primarily as needed to use that budget, but primarily for the TIF tracking system and getting that all in place. And then annual reports for MEDC on the Brownfield plans, and then any other additional support that is needed at your request.
So the amendment is for $6,000, but it's only will encompass what bills we actually encumber over the year.
Correct.
So that's a not to exceed figure at this point.
I'll make the motion to approve amendment number 7 to the contract of the authority with EnviroLogic.
Okay, T made the motion to accept this amendment.
I support that, but I had a question for Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Jeff, I'm new to this group. Could you give me just a Reader's Digest version of your role and your services?
Sure. Well, to be honest with you, our role and work with Leelanau County Brownfield Authority started back in, I want to say 07, somewhere in there. And that really came about when we were selected to assist with EPA petroleum assessment grant that you were successful in obtaining. And we've continued that relationship to today. And that has included multiple EPA grants that we've actually assisted the Brownfield Authority in implementing and using those funds to do assessment work like phase 1s, phase 2s, et cetera. Brownfield plans and so forth on multiple sites throughout the county. We've assisted in drafting some of those successful applications. And then obviously the fruits of your labor have included about 4 Brownfield plans that are in place right now currently that are actively capturing tax increment on projects that we help you manage and understand how those funds go. We're not quite there yet, but as I mentioned. And then when it comes to if there's other projects that come before you from other developers and so forth, we can assist in reviewing that information and making sure that it meets with the statutory requirements of Act 381, the Brownfield Redevelopment Financing Act. And then we always actively seek out opportunities to bring funding to Leelanau County as well on projects and help you continue to promote Brownfield redevelopment, economic development within the county. So we're basically a resource.
No, thank you. That helps. Thank you.
so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So the motion passes.
Thank you.
And we extend the work order with EnviroLogic.
Thank you.
Okay, so we go on to claims and accounts. Anyone want to make the motion to pay our bills?
So moved.
Okay, we should say the amount, and I don't have that in front of me. I have to change screens.
The amount is 10,581.25.
Thank you. So I'm sorry, T made the motion. Dennis, did you second?
Yeah.
Okay,
Did.
seconded by Dennis. Any further discussion on claims and accounts? All those in favor of paying those, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So that motion passes. So we do not have any post-audit budget transfers or amendments this month. Do we have any correspondence communication items?
Just a quick update for you that I've been talking with some individuals on 2 different potential projects here in the county, and I've been in touch with the state. They have some Brownfield grant and loan dollars. They're interested in both of these potential sites. I don't have anything to bring before you yet, but if the applicants move forward, hopefully we'll have something next month or within a couple of months to bring before you to see if the Brownfield Authority would actually apply to the state on behalf of these applicants. The local unit of government can also apply, but as you know, none of them have familiarity with doing the quarterly reports and so forth on projects like this, so I'm assuming that it would come before you to apply on behalf of the applicant instead of the local government.
All right, thank you. Keep us posted.
Trudy, what size projects are those?
Undetermined right now. One of them could be with cleanup over $100,000, and the other one, we just don't have the information for it yet. It would be doing probably the phase 1 and maybe a phase 2 to see if there is actually contamination on the site.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're back to public comment. Again, the phone number to call in is 231-256-8109. And if someone calls in, we will take the call. Jeff, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I was just going to mention, to add to Trudy's comment about the funding. Just recently, I think I've spoken to you all before, that there's Eagle has refined petroleum fund grants for petroleum type sites that they have money in, have continued to have money available for grants through local communities. But just recently, within the last couple of weeks, they've released the other pot of money basically towards sites that basically are not petroleum type sites. And so they've got $9.5 million that is available for grants and loans on those types of sites. And it's going, that pot of money's going fast. They've had a lot of people in line for it. But it's at least a good sign that the administration is opening that back up, and they've got a better control, because some of it was getting stopped because of the COVID response in the state.
And to add to what Jeff is saying, that's why I was asking about the size of the projects, potential projects, and the type of them, again, because those funds, I understand, are going fast. So if, the sooner that these developers can put something together and submit it, the better. It will increase our chances. I hear that they want, the D2 or Eagle wants to have the applications for the non-petroleum funds in late March. So time is flying.
Okay, thank you for that inside information. Any other, anything else, Trudy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Any member comments around the table? Dennis?
Yep. Real quick for Trudy, can I assume now bylaws, rules and procedures and policies and procedures have gone their final examination and then we'll be getting new copies as we approve?
Yes, you will get clean copies.
Okay, thank you.
And will those be up on the website as well, Trudy?
Yes.
Okay, so they're accessible to all. Okay. Hearing no other comments. Anyone want to make the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
T wins, and then seconded by Rick. If there's no other discussion, we can all raise our hand and say aye for adjournment.
Aye.